Now, live on WPRI 12 and on WPRI.com. This is Eyewitness News at 6. Coverage you can count on.
Eyewitness News continues to track a severe weather alert. We've been on top of this since Eyewitness News this morning. Today's storm looking fairly similar to the blizzard of '78. Dozens of vehicles stopped on Route 95 South in Hopkinton earlier this afternoon for hours. Tractor-trailer trucks that got stuck on the highway backed up traffic for miles, forcing state police to shut the highway down in that area.
And a live look at 95 North in Hopkinton at exit 1. This is the northbound side, which was not affected by that massive traffic jam. And state police tell us all lanes on 95 are open right now, but they still urge people to stay off the roads tonight.
And the state police also telling us they assisted 156 motorists. Today's storm declared a blizzard in some parts of the region, including Westerly, Providence, Block Island, and New Bedford. National Grid is still responding to power outages at this hour. These are the latest numbers that we have. They tell us over 200 crews were out during the peak of this storm this afternoon. They'll continue to restore power during the overnight hours. Governor Gina Raimondo also reminding people to stay off the roads tonight.
The snow's going to stop. If you look out and the snow will stop this evening, stay home. The roads are not in good shape, and we need to do our work all night long so that you can get to work tomorrow morning.
And today there was also thunder snow, which even interrupted meteorologist TJ Del Santo when he was on the air this afternoon.
Did you hear that? That's thunder snow, yes.
He was very excited, I think, to see that. Chief Meteorologist Tony Petrarca is here now with more details on thunder snow and how much snow has fallen across southern New England. Tony?
Well, Mike and Shannon, obviously thunderstorms, a typical occurrence during the spring and summertime season, but you can get them in winter storms, but primarily intense, strong winter storms and strong nor'easters. And obviously this was a strong storm today, up to a foot of snow, winds gusting 40, 50, even 60 miles per hour with power outages. We're in the final stages. The storm is still intensifying offshore, and while the snow is not as widespread or as intense in some of those thunder snows when it was snowing at the rate of 1, 2, even 3 inches per hour, still getting some light to at times moderate snow. But the trend for this has been, it's been breaking up. It continues to slowly pull away right now. So just very small accumulations from here on out. In fact, you can see it's completely dry out towards the Connecticut River Valley, where skies will begin to clear. So good news in that regard, but the wind will remain for a better part of the night, and what's on the ground, and there's certainly a lot, and what's on the trees will continue to blow and drift over the roadways. As far as what fell today, anywhere from 10 to 14 inches statewide. And we'll take a look at specific towns and cities coming up in our next weather segment, but about a 10 to 14 inch snowfall. Winds are still very gusty, especially along the coastline, causing some blowing and drifting, though any additional power outages at this point would be sporadic. We'll get a closer look at the storm system that's offshore, some of the residual impacts for later on this evening and during the overnight, and what's ahead for the weekend and into early next week. We have more precipitation in the forecast, so a lot to cover. All the details in about 10 minutes.
All right, thank you, Tony. And some of the most dramatic images of today's storm came from 95 South in Hopkinton, where we told you it was gridlock for hours. Dozens of vehicles got stuck on the highway after tractor-trailer trucks got stuck, blocking traffic.
Eyewitness News reporter Walt Buteau is there. He joins us now live in South Kingstown with more details. Walt?
Our goal was to get here to this deck overlooking the ocean to give you an idea of exactly how big the waves are. Turns out they weren't very big today. Beach erosion always a concern here in South Kingstown and Matunic, but here's why we didn't get here. We can show you the video again from the interstate. Right around Richmond, we got stuck along with dozens of other cars, 2 miles of traffic, hundreds of people waiting to move, but they couldn't move because of those tractor trailers that couldn't quite make it up that slight incline, that slight hill that brings you into Connecticut on Route 95. Here's what some of them had to say as they waited. How long you been stuck in this? How long you been stuck in this?
Since 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Wow.
I took off. Yeah. So it's been a long time.
What even? What's it like to be? How big of a surprise was this? What's it like? What's going through your mind?
Right now, all going through my mind. I'm hungry. I'm starving. I like to use the bathroom. I can't go nowhere.
Basically, I've been here since a little after 12. I'm just curious to, what the holdup is as far as how long it's going to take for them to, finish this up.
As far as why most of those people were on there, we talked to probably about a dozen. Almost every one of those folks were heading either, including that gentleman, were heading from work to home. So they weren't out trying to look at the snow. They were doing exactly what they would normally do, except on this day, they just couldn't move on Route 95. We're now live in South Kingstown. Walt Buteau, Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Walt. From South Kingstown to East Providence, Eyewitness News covering all of southern New England during this major snowstorm.
Eyewitness News reporter Caroline Goggin is live in East Providence with more on what she's been seeing out there. Caroline?
Well, Shannon and Mike, the snow isn't coming down as hard tonight, but the wind is still whipping and these roads are still a mess. We've been here in Breaking News 1 in East Providence all afternoon. I want to give you a look at some of the video that we've seen. Emergency trucks, saw fire trucks, police coming down these streets to help people who were stranded on the roads earlier this afternoon. We saw several cars that needed to be helped out of that snow and several people who got out of their own cars to help out others, which was pretty fantastic. We also saw people walking on these roads in these blizzard-like conditions this afternoon in East Providence, but still tonight these plow trucks are coming through, making their way down Pawtucket Avenue onto Warren Avenue, but with this wind and with this snow still sitting on the ground, it's just not ideal conditions to be out driving tonight, especially with this reduced visibility. Reporting live in East Providence, I'm Caroline Goggin. Back to you.
Thank you, Caroline. Another area getting hit hard. It's what's considered the snow belt in Rhode Island, northwest Rhode Island.
Smithfield, always a safe bet to get blasted by snow during a storm like this. And that's where we find Kim Kalunian, who's been braving the cold wind and snow all day long. Kim, how many inches are you measuring there?
Well, I think it's up to a foot in some spots, but again, Mike, Shannon, we've had some blowing and drifting, so it's tough to get a precise measurement, but the accumulation seems to have slowed down, so folks might be thinking, well, maybe now's a good time to get out and shovel, but just take a look at this. It's really, I've only had this shovel full for just a couple of minutes, and it's already packed pretty solid because it is cold out here. My glove is actually frozen to this shovel, so if you're planning to dig out, be prepared to encounter some ice, and although it looks like light powder, it's not the easiest snow to shovel. So again, with the blowing, the drifting, and these gusty winds that are continuing, if you're thinking about heading out to shovel, you might want to think twice, even though the accumulation has slowed down a bit. For now, reporting live from Smithfield with the Mobile Newsroom.
Thank you, Kim. And within the last hour, we learned New Bedford Public Schools will be closed tomorrow. This as crews will be clearing roads through the night and well into tomorrow. Fall River is also canceled tomorrow as the calls are starting to come in. But in New Bedford, it was a handful of communities to see blizzard conditions today. Eyewitness News reporter Steph Machado joins us now live from the Southeastern Massachusetts Mobile Newsroom with more on the conditions out there. Steph?
Well, I'm still waiting for it to really slow down here in New Bedford. I suppose it has a little bit, but it's still quite windy here. It's still really snowing here. You know, the wind goes in and out and then it gets stronger. But I just want to show you how windy it really is, because if you look at our Eyewitness News car here, we haven't cleared this off at all in about 5 hours, and we've gotten like a foot of snow here. That's how windy it is that it's not really staying in one place anywhere, and that's what makes it so difficult for plows like this one behind me to keep clearing the snow, because they try and they come by and they clear the snow, but then the wind is blowing drifts back onto the roads, and that's what's making it so very dangerous to drive on the roads here. Now, we've been in the supermarket parking lot all day long, and the supermarket decided to close. The employees came out and found their cars with these snow drifts behind them, also from the wind just blowing it in, and we talked to them as they tried to dig their way out.
I'm just going to maneuver into them. Once I get over there, it looks like it's been plowed a little bit, enough to get me on the highway.
This is the worst storm we've had this year. This is the blizzard. This feels like the 78 blizzard right now.
And so that last gentleman, comparing it to the blizzard of 78, we've got another big wind gust coming through right now. I was not alive when that happened, but this is probably the strongest blizzard I've ever been out in personally. It's also extremely icy out here. The snow is very impacted to the ground, and so that makes it really difficult to even stand or walk, never mind drive. So your best bet is to stay inside for the rest of the night. Reporting live in New Bedford with the Mobile Newsroom, Steph Machado, Eyewitness News.
I was alive for the blizzard of 78. It was not fun. Severe weather coverage continues on Eyewitness News at 6. Plow trucks will be out all night as the snow continues to fall, but will soon be coming to an end.
And as the snow piles up, wouldn't it help to know when a plow is coming to clean your street? Well, new at 6, why making a snowplow tracker public is harder than you think and how the system works in one major city.